Well, hello, St. Raphael School community. Welcome to another edition of Five Questions with your classical educator, but with a twist, because we're not only interviewing instructors, we are interviewing parents and we're interviewing students. And so today we have with us Allison Morris. She is the mother of Evelyn Morris, who is in her second year in level 4 children's classics. Of course, it's important to note that all of our liberal arts classes have a 2-year rotation, as does our catechism courses. And so students would take the same course, but a different rotation. And there's different books and there are different skills. And we build upon the skills of the previous years to that particular year. So today we have Allison in the hot seat. Allison, if you would like to just introduce us to you, your family, where you are, to your daughter, and then we'll get into our questions.
Okay, so we live in Lexington, Kentucky. We are members of St. Andrew Antiochian Orthodox Parish here in Lexington, and our daughter is 13, and we actually run a business from our house. And so that's been a particular challenge through the pandemic, and one of the reasons that we joined St. Raphael School. So
I do remember that. I do remember that. Evelyn is such a gem. She is so conscientious and she is so thoughtful. And, it was really beautiful to see these last 2 years how much she has grown. And so I wanted to ask you, what have you seen as far as changes in Evelyn when it comes to academics, social, confidence, anything you want to kind of tell us about the experience of the formation that St. Raphael School gives to students?
This is a great place to start because we do own our own business, and we had her in private school before, and then we realized that our neighborhood school was close and we got to know the principal, and so we put her there, and it was a good public school. But something we started to realize about her was she was getting really anxious there and really afraid to ask questions. The teachers there are wonderful, but they're just overextended because public schools they just have so many students per instructor. And she's a really sensitive kid. She's really sharp. She's really sensitive. She's really creative. And she was just kind of getting lost and really, just really more and more anxious about, okay, am I doing okay? She's not getting feedback from her instructors. She's not allowed to ask questions because they just have too many kids with too many needs, and she's good enough. So when the pandemic hit, we had homeschooled when she was in kindergarten and first grade. And so my husband and I went, you know what? Look, we're all working at home anyway. We're all stuck here. We know how to do this. Let's just go back and do homeschool. And so we finished out her 5th grade year homeschooling, me just sort of ad hocing curriculum because kind of, okay, let's do some grammar. Let's do some reading. Let's do some math. And then our priest actually was sending out homeschool courses to families, which was so great, and mentioned St. Raphael School as part of the Orthodox community. And we were so excited when I clicked on the links, and I was like, this sounds amazing. And I following Melissa Nasco. She's
yes,
so funny. She's so great. She's got like 11 kids or something, and is part of a monastic community. And some of her kids have done St. Raphael School stuff.
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, well, if it's, that's cool. So I started checking it out and realized, because we run a business and I didn't have the time, when she was littler, I did have the time to homeschool her. But when the pandemic hit, we were full on, we have so many clients, and And also she's in a different place. She's moving into middle school and she's different adults in her life to teach. And so St. Raphael School was so amazing because, oh my gosh, I can find a teacher who can teach this to her. And then I manage courses, and, we check in with her and we make sure she's doing her work, but I'm not the teacher, and I can let her go to her class, and it's 100 times better than the online courses that the public school was offering. It was just night and day different. There's real engagement, and I loved so many things about it. So it ended up being so life-giving and so helpful. So we were able to continue working, didn't skip a beat really, and Evelyn was able to get instruction. And one of the most amazing things was that every instructor wanted the students' input, wanted what they had to say, wanted to know how they were synthesizing the material, wanted pushback from them, wanted debate, wanted just so lively, so enriching to be able to see these students talk. One of the things I loved is the interaction between the students during the courses. I've had, the fortune to be able to listen in on a lot of the classes, and I pop in and like, but it's been so great because not only are we hearing what she's being taught, we're loving it, and we make her engage with the instructor, with the other students, and building confidence that she had lost. She had lost because, those poor public school teachers didn't have the bandwidth. I do not fault them. They just didn't have the bandwidth. They're just overwhelmed. And the pandemic just really threw them.
Oh, yes.
So St. Raphael School has been such a gift that parents who couldn't otherwise homeschool are able to homeschool. And kids are really getting to interact in a way that they wouldn't otherwise.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty,
even in a virtual environment.
I was just going to say, it's pretty amazing that the community fosters an ethos, an Orthodox ethos of a village. And even though we're separated by, sometimes thousands of miles, the students are still close. The instructors are still close with the families. My favorite thing is, Presbytero, we're driving through your city. Can we just stop for a hug? Yes, yes, please. Those kind of interactions. And of course, we've had students driving or flying in the vicinity of someone else and meeting up with them and the family. So the community of those spread out worldwide now, because we have students in Hong Kong, in India, in Greece, in Cyprus. We have so many students everywhere. And, our Australian brothers and sisters really want to, come, but we don't have any instructors in that time zone. We're still very tight knit. Yeah. And that's just amazing.
It's wonderful. We actually last summer went to visit a schoolmate from SRS on the way to Antiochian Village Camp. They were both going to camp together, and we met up with the family in Pittsburgh, and it was so fun. And actually, I think the mom is one of the instructors for St. Raphael School, but iconographer.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
Yeah, we
Our
love
beloved it. Mrs.
Cider Rose.
Cider Rose. I always think.
Yeah.
Cider Rose. Yeah.
They're great. It was so fun. And it was so fun to go visit their church. And then, and they went to camp together. And so it's such a community. It's such a wonderful community. And it kind of turns, we have this concept of virtual communities. It can be very isolating to have these virtual communities. So when you think about the Facebook community and Instagram, blah, blah, blah. But St. Raphael School turns that on its head because the kids and the families are actually connecting. And it almost doesn't make sense, except that I think it's the grace of the Lord. It just,
of course,
it's just, That's it.
It really is. And that's one thing that makes St. Raphael School so remarkable is that, like you said, it defies
It does.
what you would assume would be isolation. God uses it to create larger community.
Right. Right.
And so you'll see the students on the discussion boards, and they're almost acting as if they're cousins or siblings. And
Yeah.
they're interacting, and they're bantering, and they're sharing, and they're growing, and the writing and the art and everything they're building together. Evelyn's, of course, class level 4 did a whole original play, which we will, premiere after Pascha. But they wrote it, they directed it, they did all of the stage, backdrops, everything that was needed. I just showed up to make sure the room is open, but they did everything from start to finish, and not for an assignment. Hey, Evelyn, but because they wanted to.
Yeah.
Right?
I've loved their discussions, and I love that they're moderated.
Yes.
That's really important. So it gives them that social media experience, but it's moderated, which Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, none of that is. And
so for our parents that don't know, our students can use discussion boards, but the discussion boards are monitored by instructors, and we get a notification for every single thing that is said. And my beloved students in my class, particularly level 4, love to chat. So I read a lot, but it is so beautiful to see how they connect.
Well, another thing is parents also can have visibility of those chats.
Yes.
So I've had it on my phone, and I see all the chat going on. I'm like, oh my gosh. And sometimes it's hysterical. And the black thing, that's tacos. I love that song, by the way. Did Evelyn hear the Space Unicorn with you?
Yes, I did watch that. So thank you, Evelyn. And I even posted it to the discussion board.
Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, that's a great thing. That's really a great thing. They really, in spite of being, flung across the US and the world, they still are connecting. They really have a community, and it's a moderated community, so it's safe. And that's wonderful.
And I feel that, go ahead, Evelyn.
Oh, well, I was going to say that I feel like it's kind of cool to have people that you can relate to in a lot of ways, especially in the faith. You can be like, oh, well, I'm going to go, I was at church, or it's like the instructors, the students get it. I feel like we're so tightly knit. And the other thing is, I think just in the discussion board today, we were talking about all the little like fads that are.
Oh, yes.
About, like there's a one point in time when everyone was talking about Minions. They would put pictures of Minions on the discussion. We were just thinking back to it. It's kind of like,
what about last year, the big potato project?
Right, the potato thing was hysterical.
That was huge.
Oh, well, didn't your math class do something with potatoes too?
No, my math class, all the kids just want to talk about
potatoes.
And the teacher's just like, you know what? Okay.
No, that's right. He was saying build an abacus with potatoes.
Oh, that's interesting.
And that's another thing is the connection with the Scholé Academy too, because then you get some other stuff, and that's been fun too, to connect with kids maybe from a different faith tradition, but you still share the love of Christ. You still are weird homeschool kids,
right? Right.
And they get to connect over that, and it's so good to know that you're not alone, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of time when we were starting SRS, I was thinking to myself, I didn't really expect to come out with more self-confidence at the end of the year, at the end of 2 years, because I thought, oh, well, it's online school, it's homeschool, you're going to be isolated, but really I have so many friendships that I've made, and I know.
And Senya made.
Yeah.
Yes.
Senya is like our class mascot. Senya, by the way, is a cat.
The kitty. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And one of my friends that I met last year, I check in with her about every day, and
I think you connected them. Yeah,
Mhm.
Thecla. Yeah.
Mhm.
talk to her every day, and it's just really cool because even though people might live 6 hours away or more or across the world, you make
Yeah.
lasting friendships.
Mhm.
And I kind of have a feeling that a lot of the friendships I've made through online school, that they're gonna be like forever friendships, you know.
Yeah.
There's just like a level of understanding between other homeschool families that are in the faith, and I just think that it's like a great learning environment, you know. It's really like kind of brought me out of like the shyness I used to have. I'm like so much more self-confident, even like
You
not
are.
just like in general. Like
Yeah.
I feel so much more self-confident. I never thought that that could come from an online school, but you know, really it did.
I think it's the faith aspect, the faith and the community, and the way the instructors really foster that. It's really different. It's
Yeah.
really remarkably different.
You know, I love that you said about Scholé, because we came into Scholé in 2018 as a school within a school. And of course, everybody in Scholé Academy, the overarching academy itself, which we are a school within a school,
Right.
are Christians that believe in the Nicene Creed.
Yeah.
So we do have this vision of ecumenicalism in that, yes, in the house of studies, we do look at things through the lens of orthodoxy. But then when they need math or science, because we're a liberal arts school, they can go into Scholé and we can be rest assured that the Trinitarian theology, for example, is the basis of their faith as instructors. Of course, our students come from all parts and paths of life. And we've had, you know, some families that have taken our courses that have decided to become Orthodox. So that's always a blessing to hear too. So, you know, we're here for one another, and that growth is so beautiful to see amongst, you know, families, but also our students, you know.
Yeah. I
So
love, yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I love that since we joined St. Raphael School, it's just,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the classes last year were much, well, they were smaller and there were fewer of them. And now you guys have added so many. I mean, I pray for you all because it's, wow,
Yes.
so much. It's exploded, and rightly so, because I think you're really filling a need. Really filling a need. There are parents who didn't have the confidence to homeschool, but really wanted to, and you guys are making that possible. And
Well, you know, what we try to do is listen to what the families and the students want, and then build around our tried and true. Our tried and true is the liberal arts program,
yeah,
goes from K to 12. Our catechism program
love
goes, you know, from 3 to 12. You know, our languages, now that we added Arabic, we added Russian,
yeah,
to our Greek, and to our yeah, and Hebrew. All of these things are what our families want. Poetry classes, right? Poetry classes were added because students really love poetry. Acting, drama
oh, that's
course
exciting. Yeah,
has been added, and the pastoral assistant, who is going to be a priest, Elias Diamond, he actually is a playwright and an actor. And so, you know, God always provides and sends to us these amazing instructors that offer our students really the best of themselves.
Mhm.
And that is so important. So important.
I really love how with this type of schooling, it's more like you can customize it to this particular
Yeah,
student. It's not one size fits all. And I really like that because say you're really advanced in reading, but you're behind in math. that doesn't matter. You could be in a math class with like kids that are around your age, but it's not one certain grade. And that's something I like. And I just thought that it's just really cool to be able to go to a class, and because you think like you want to go there, you're not being like forced into it, like, and also I like how there are multiple instructors, so you can kind of find one that will like teach the class that you want, will match like the personality that
True.
You don't get to do that in public school. You don't get to choose instructors. And it's been fun to see the profiles and go,
yes.
I remember reading I was looking at the liberal arts teacher, and I'm going, oh, I like this lady, and likewise, like the catechism classes, actually, the catechism has been such a gift to our entire family. And that's so unique to this school. Yes. And I love the catechetical approach to all of the courses. Everything is the prism of we're Orthodox Christians or we're Christians, and so we see things through the prism of, okay, how does this part of my relationship to God and my growing in the faith and my life of repentance, and it's so wonderful. I love that. And but the catechism classes themselves have been really great, because it's not just learning the faith, it's learning history, it's learning culture, it's learning so many things. It's sort of like ancient civ and and learning the faith at the same time. And it's been really valuable, and it's fun how it's dovetailed with her course that she's taking. She's like, oh, yeah, about that, because
it's living orthodoxy. It's being an Orthodox Christian. And if we're living orthodoxy, we don't just live it on a Sunday. I tell my students all the time, when you're looking at something, when you're reading something, guard yourself, think about it, reflect on it, pray on it. How do we see this as Orthodox Christians versus the secular world? Right. There is a difference. And so, I love what you said, Evelyn, about our instructors meet our students where they're at.
Yeah. So good.
We don't try to say, okay, everyone's like this and everyone's going to do this. No, we meet you where you're at, and we build upon your already great gifts of God and make them stronger. And we offer the space. We allow the students, like you had said earlier, Allison, before Evelyn came, to grapple with material, to make their own ideas, to push back on the instructor, to try to see the process of learning and to enjoy learning.
Yeah,
it's in the end.
So much joy.
In the end, that's what the key is, right? To continue to want to learn.
Before we did SRS in school, I used to go to church, and I would sit through church and I would pray, but it wasn't as connected to my life as it is now, because now, say you're doing like a reading assignment, that is being connected to God. You're doing a math assignment, that is being connected to God, and everything is connected to your faith. And now I feel like I'm understanding more about like the services, and I definitely feel more connected to my faith because I'm just constantly surrounded by it. And I think that's just something that is I don't know, it's just been an amazing opportunity to be able to do this, because I feel like I've grown so much in my faith, because
you have.
I don't see it as oh, well, I go to church, I come home, I go on with my week. No, like I'm continuing, and it doesn't stop.
Thank God.
Keep going.
Yes.
Thank God.
That's so good. Yeah. And the other thing is, if you come from a public school environment, especially, they have to do this testing.
Of course.
So many kids don't do well with testing, but they do better with being challenged. Their knowledge every day.
That's right. and synthesizing and making it their own and creating new.
No
So
test
it's
can assess.
right.
No test can assess, except the test of life. So these
Right.
kids are going to be better prepared for life because they're coming up against things they don't
Yes.
understand. They're grappling with ideas. They're arguing.
Yes.
Respectfully. They're learning how to argue
Yes.
respectfully. And that's been so
Yes.
neat to hear. And to hear students present their ideas and then get feedback from other students.
Yeah.
That's rare in
Yeah.
most school situations.
And they're constructive
Right.
comments. They're
Right.
poignant comments. They're comments of improvement, comments of analytical thought, comments of, wow, I never thought about that, how you connected it.
I love hearing that. It just,
Yeah.
oh, it's awesome.
Yes.
I wish I had this school. Oh, I would have loved it. I was in public schools and I struggled. I was nerdy
That was, yeah.
and but didn't, anyway, it would have been so wonderful.
Yeah, I think
But-
So,
all right.
last question for
Okay.
both of you. If you could summarize St. Raphael School in 5 words or less, 5 words only, Evelyn.
Okay. I've got mine. You think about yours. I've got mine.
How would you describe it?
Okay. I prepared mine. You think about yours.
Okay.
Okay. I said rigorous, joyful, grace-filled learning.
Oh,
So the coursework isn't easy, but it's presented in such a way that the students can really engage with it. They discover the joy in learning and in like digging in and working with it, like arguing with each other. I love the constructive argue. They kind of debate each other.
yes.
Oh yeah.
And then the goal is not just checking off boxes,
Right.
scores. It's, are they really understanding? Are they really grasping the material? And to me, it reflects the way it's the Christian life, right? That we're constantly, our
Yes.
entire life is catechism, right? Our entire life is repentance.
From blessing to blessing.
Right. That's what I see in St. Raphael School. And that's how learning should be. That's how learning should be.
Oh, I think I
So,
found.
okay. You got
You
yours?
got it?
I think. So let's see.
5 or 5 or less?
Probably okay. Personal growth. Maybe a community. So community. I guess you could say hope, because I think that when you're kind of in these classes, you feel very like filled with hope for like,
Beautiful.
like, oh, there are other people who like do the same church services, who like do the same things, who are my friends.
Mhm.
I have so much in common with my classmates. It's awesome. So I feel very like hopeful in the classes.
Oh, beautiful.
I think also probably customizable, because as I said, you can do what kind of, you do it to your own ability. Like say you have parents like I do that work full time. Okay, well, we'll put her in this class and this class and this class. Or parents that want to like say they want to teach math, but they don't feel that they have the skills to teach liberal arts. They could do that class. So I think that's very customizable, and it's configured so that families can use it.
Yeah.
Anyone really could use it. And I thought it was nice that there are some, I think, adult classes that they're offering, like especially.
Yes, we've added quite a few adult classes. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting.
For the whole family.
Yay.
So as you can see, Allison Morris and her dear daughter, Evelyn, are just amazing. Their family is amazing. I'm a big fan of Evelyn's, a big cheerleader of Evelyn's as well. And I look forward, unfortunately, she will not be returning to one of my classes next year, but I will be following what she's doing. And like I tell my students always, once you're my student, you're always my student, no matter what. So thank you, Allison and Evelyn, for joining us for 5 questions with your classical educator with a twist. And we will be offering more of these in the future. So stay tuned. Just a reminder, many classes have begun to fill to capacity. We are capping at 15. So please, if you are wanting to get into a certain section for time purposes, please make sure you register early. Also, Allison mentioned this at the top of our interview. Our instructors are amazing. I endorse every single one of them. And no matter what section your child has, our instructors collaborate together. So we all are teaching the same things, the same course curriculum, scope and sequence in every class with our own personality, of course, but we do work together. So just keep that in mind. If the section you want is full and another section is open, feel secure that that instructor as well will do an amazing job. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And we will talk again soon. Bye-bye.
You, bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.